Hey guys, Bruce here at CincySlots.com. Got a couple things to share with you today. The new Revoslot McLarens, the Marlboro and the Harrods edition came out. So I'm going to show you those. Another very nice car put out by Revoslot. As you can see, there's no mirrors, but they do come with it, and they already have the holes for you. I would say forget about the mirrors and just leave them in the box, because chances are they're going to get busted right off. So I got to, oh yeah, they both got it on the rear grille there. So here you have the Marlboro ones, number 2, number 6, and then the Harrods, which, to be honest, I'm really torn. I like the Marlboro ones, but this yellow and green just have always done it for me. I do like it. So those 3 are available on the website right now, CincySlots.com. You can order those and they're ready to be shipped. So there's no waiting. They have been released and ready to go. Now, we've been talking about it for a couple years at Cincy Slots for our race league in introducing some trailer racing just for kicks and giggles. So, been kicking around a trailer that I found online and have been messing around with the 3D printer and seeing if I could make something for us. So this is the trailer, and it does fit. Just seeing if I had a 1/32 car handy. I don't really want to take, oh yeah, I do. I don't want to take one of those Revos off the base. But it's got a slot for the guide, and so you can put the guide where it belongs. And that's what the car would look like on your trailer. You would obviously need to strap it down, but you get the idea. It's got spots for brake lights, and if you look close, I added, see if it'll focus, the Cincy slots on the license plate, just for fun. And then I've not decided what I'm gonna use to pull it, but it's definitely gonna need some extra weight in the front. And who knows, maybe we may need a magnet just to keep the hauler on the track and not wanting to pop wheelies. But my first thought was I could use my power slot Humvee, and then I can just hook it to the trailer like so. The problem is, with this being a 4x4, it wants to tilt this way. So I may have to make an adjustment to my print and raise this piece up, or create a hitch that hangs down a little further. So that is still, actually that works pretty good. If you put it under the hitch like that, which is totally fine, then it looks like it'll sit pretty level. Because when you take it up here, it's kind of a problem. So yeah, so, and then for the time being, I had some of these ball bearing single flange bushings. So I drilled out the holes, and you can just sit the bearing in there. You can either put a dot of glue to hold it in place, or once you have the spacers and everything, it'll probably stay in place by itself. Now this is a pretty wide chassis, so it's a little over 2 3/4 from outside to outside. Most stock axles are not going to be long enough, so I picked up 3 30-second drill blank rod. So now I can just cut it to fit and slide it in like so. And to be honest with you, I was really surprised at how straight my holes were from side to side. There was no binding, so that was nice. And it's also wide enough, or well, to make it work. The original trailer didn't have this big of a drop right here, so I had to add that piece. So we had somewhere to really put the bushings in and make it so you could get the double wheels in here. So by adding that, it allowed me to put the dual wheels in the back. Let's put this in place. And again, it's for kicks and giggles, just having some fun at the track. I'm sure there's gonna need to be rules made up as time goes on. Notably, a minimum, maximum type of weight for the trailer. But here you can see it's got plenty of room for the wheels and tires. Whoa! I didn't glue them in, so of course they fell out. But you get the idea. So that ought to be a fun thing to do. So we may play around with that at some point this coming season. I also, in a recent collection I always wanted one of these bodies to make a car out of, a little dirt track racer. So I got the body, and it came with a mostly finished chassis. I gotta figure out, you know, I gotta slide it to get the length, the wheelbase correct. But once I have that done, the rest is simple. So I'm really looking forward to working on this, either now or this coming winter, whatever comes first, as far as time allows. And that's pretty much it for what I'm doing currently. I did get some cars in some of the collections that I'd recently bought, and I'll just share them with you since they're kind of odd cars that you really don't see that much anymore. It used to be a big deal. Arton made very, very simple chassis, but you could put just about anything on them and go after it. NASCARs, dirt modified cars, or whatever. So this one was an Arton NASCAR that he cut the fenders off of and kind of made it a mix between NASCAR and like a dirt modified. But there's the chassis. Like I said, super simple, easy to mount. So that'd be a fun class to run. And then these have been around Cincinnati forever. They are Formula Ford. A couple guys here in town got into trying to create like a club car, and this is what they came up with. This particular one is cast in resin, and the chassis is made out of popsicle sticks, which was part of the rules. Trying to keep it simple and, you know, something that you could make and not spend a bunch of money. The wheels are just plastic slotted wheels. The engine, really you can't see the motor, but it's one of those slimline FF motors with slotted crown gear and a Scalextric pinion gear. chassis, or the bottom piece that helps hold the motor in place, is just some, looks like a old credit card. Unfortunately, that's expired, so I can't use it. But anyhow, and you know, a slotted guide. But these have actually, my other ones are at work, but there's actually newer versions of these that were made by another local guy, and they were available for sale on Shapeways. I've not been on Shapeways since they made the announcement of them going under or bankrupt or whatever it is, but he had a couple, and he also had chassis that had, you know, they're almost like it had a motor pod, so it had a little bit of flex in it. He also made them for 1/24 scale, and they're all a lot of fun. I would assume if you were on Shapeways and the site was up and you typed in Formula Ford, his model would pop up if you want something like that. And another dirt racer, NASCAR looking. It's another, these are, well, this one was I believe this one was from an art NASCAR. And I believe this one is just a model kit of a Chevy. And then he glued on some styrene tubing for bumpers. Put a little guy in there, generic tray, and again, it's just a basic chassis. But that's what makes these chassis so desirable, is they're easy to mount just about anything on them. These tires, you know, this has been out for a long time, and these tires are, as you can imagine, are just rock hard. They had a battle class, and this was his entry, Circus Freak, and he's got screws in the front. Again, that's the chassis. There's really nothing to it. You had to put a little styrene in there to make the wheelbase longer, but that was no problem. And it looks like he, I don't know what this chassis is out of, but it looks like he's got one of the figures from the Homies. So there's that one. And then oh yeah, the Studebaker. So it's got a old-fashioned kind of guy driver in it. And this one's got a vintage aluminum chassis on it. And he modified the guide so it didn't stick out the front. It's missing a front bumper and probably the back if I had to guess. But, you know, I kind of like these odd cars that people have modified to work on slot car tracks. And the last one is a tow truck. It was made from a Ninko truck chassis. That's why it's got this spring-loaded for the dirt road track or off-road track. I've not put it on the track yet, but chances are it'll just be scenery, if that. Anyhow, it's got lights, it's got headlights, and I think that's it. I don't think any of these other lights work. I don't see any wires going to them. And I don't have a 9-volt. Oh, yeah, I do. Let's see what we get. So it works. But yeah, so those are my newest additions of goofy cars, custom cars, what have you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.